Welcome, everyone. Ed, is it live?
Yes, we are already on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
YouTube.
Ed.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to pitchIN Thursday. Thank you for joining us. We have a total of 3 issuers pitching today, which are Slurp, Supplycart, and Timbre. My name is Aina, and I'll be your host this pitching session. If this is your first time tuning in to our session, pitchIN is Malaysia's leading equity crowdfunding platform, which is registered with the Securities Commission of Malaysia. pitchIN has successfully helped startups collectively raise more than 170 million ringgit to date through more than 5,000 investments, which is the most among all ECF platforms in Malaysia. Equity crowdfunding gives investors the opportunity to invest in fast-growing companies that have high potential for growth, where retail investors can participate alongside angel and sophisticated investors. So deals like this were not accessible to the public prior to the introduction of equity crowdfunding platforms. You can check out our website at www.equity.pitchin.my for investment opportunities. So webinars like today that we run allow businesses to present their investment pitch to you as the investors, and to give you the opportunity to ask them any questions directly so that it could help you make your investment decision. So please feel free to ask as many questions as you want. If you're tuning in through Zoom, you can type out your question in the Q&A column below. If you're tuning in through Facebook or YouTube, you can leave your questions in the comment section, and we'll get to them after each respective business pitch. Tonight, we have Reza from Slurp, Jonathan from Supplycart, and Brian from Timbre presenting their pitch. Each company has 10 minutes to present, followed by a Q&A session. So without further delay, let me start off with our first pitch by Slurp. A little bit of introduction. Slurp, or Silent Mode Sedang Berhad, is a Malaysian technology company that provides organizations with cloud-based software as a service solution. Slurp's point-of-sale system was brought about with the desire to provide merchants with great retail technology. They have an impressive clientele of over 3,000 merchants across Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines, and 800 Petronas stations using its pure retail solutions. Slurp is going live tomorrow, aiming to raise a minimum of 500,000 ringgit and a maximum of 3.5 million on pitchIN. The minimum investment block is 2,400 ringgit. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass the stage or the screen to Reza.
Okay, Aina, thank you very much for the introduction. So I will share my deck now. And okay. Okay. So yeah. So I'm Reza. I'm from a company called Slurp, and we do point of sale system. But I like to the company name is Silent Mode Sedang Berhad. The product name is Slurp, and we like to say that we are very focused in leading tech, retail tech innovation. And that is my name. That's my phone number, and that's my email address. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. That's my detail. And this is part of a team at Slurp, and just we wanted to share what's interesting about the businesses. These are the colleagues that helped jumpstart the company about 3 years ago. This was when we installed our first fuel retail solution at the Petronas station, and this was about 2 years ago. And since then, all these team members, right beside me is my co-founder Kelvin, and the rest of the team, they are still with the company even after even after the last 2 years. So core team members, and I'm very, very proud of that. Just a testament to how we've been able to retain very good talent in the business.
Reza, sorry, your slide is showing the timer, and the next slide, can you, because it's showing the navigator, can you just view it as a full slide?
Okay, let me try and do that. Yeah, I'm just now it works. It shows the full slide. I'm sorry, Ed. I have no idea how to change that now.
Okay, no worries, no
Yeah,
worries.
all right. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, so our bank in investment now, we have about 42 investors which have banked in. We have another 32 which has not banked in, but we were told that this afternoon one investor has wrote a check for about 1.4 million, and so we are looking to go live with a minimum of about 2 million or total investor pre-live at about 2.296 200 and 2.2 million raised from a total of 104 retail investor. So that's our performance so far. So in terms of our client, we have, of course, we had Singtel as a customer in Singapore. We have Petronas using us right now, over 800 over station. And we have numerous F&B brands that's using us right now. So years in business, we've been in business about 6 years now. We have 48 personnel and about 2,500 restaurant that which has used us, F&B and of course fuel retail outlet that has used us. And in terms of Slurp, what we provide is we have a few products in the business. We have F&B, a point of sale. We have fuel retail point of sale. We also have online ordering and mini point of sale for F&B and retail. And our products, the two core products we have in the business is we have this F&B point of sale, and we have this fuel retail point of sale. This is the two key product that we offer in the business right now. And in terms of the technology, we go beyond the point of sale really. We provide the inventory solution, the loyalty, the analytics reporting, the API, payments and all that. So we are beyond the point of sale really. We provide various retail tech component which will make running a business easy for a retailer. But let me just explain why we decide to go into the fuel retail space, and this is a space that we wanted to grow further. Our solution now at Slurp, we run both we were able to resolve and lower the cost of expensive hardware for fuel retailer. Before this, their point of sale is very expensive. We were able to reduce that cost by quite a bit, by about 50%, because our solution runs on both iOS and Android, which is both cost efficient, while also secure, good performance, and also very scalable for large enterprise environment. We're also able to reduce support costs because we have a preventive maintenance tool that's able to remotely resolve any issues without going on site. And we also enable greater customer experience, such as mobile wallet and a lot of new digital marketing technology to fuel retailer, because we have modern API which are able to consume and connect to other systems easier. So yeah, so what we do is some of the solution that we provide to Petronas is we provide them real-time sales analytics. We help deliver omnichannel experience like mobile wallet, loyalty, and all that. We increase service availability via proactive and automated remote maintenance, and we enable very quick deployment, which can be done remotely as well. And the solution is deeply integration into the supply chain as well. So you're asking, you want to raise this 3.5 million, where do you want to go? We are looking to go and set up joint ventures in US and MENA. Why the US? The US is the largest fuel retail market in the world, with over 156,000 fuel retailer. And majority of these retailer are single owner, single operator outlet. So they are not owned by large conglomerate. So we like this market. And also Middle East, North Africa is because the convenience retail, the fuel retail space is the fastest growing in the world. In fact, the compounded annual growth rate is in certain market in MENA is at 26%. So that is very, very interesting for us as well. So in looking at our revenue, we had a small base of 1.5 million in 2018. We grew to about 3.6 million in 2019, about 5.9 million in 2020. This is audited number for 2020, and we hope to hit 10.8 million this year. We are on track based on the run rate to hit that number for this year, and hopefully we could double that for 2022. So looking at our performance, I think we have been able to grow it consistently. Since 2018 till about 2021, we have been able to grow the business to be of a more sizable number than previously. And looking at the funding breakdown, what we're looking at is majority of the fund is for, of course, some of it for human capital when we go to new market, but about 1.5 million wanted to spend to help fund our market expansion, and about 200,000 to help us to enhance the help buy hardware, which we can test to deliver the software better, and the rest is for the human capital. But majority of the fund is going to be used for to find for joint venture partners, or when we go to new market, the few market that we're looking at. So yeah, so this is my detail. That's my name, that's my email address. I'll be more than happy to answer some of the questions that you might have about the business. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reza. We have one question over on Zoom from Rohit. Why USA? Isn't it a mature market? Any specific connection or gaps identified among these few retailers that you feel we can target?
Yeah. So why USA? It is for fuel retail. There is opportunity there. We've been looking at the market for 2 years. We like the market because the market is very large, and 156,000 retailer, and they are mostly single. The long tail is very, very long, right? You have top 10 retailers only control about less than the top 10 control less than 20,000 stores. So the 130,000 stores are mostly owned by smaller operators. So we like that, and we have seen a lot of interest for our product from the market. So that's why we wanted to go to this market. Yeah. So who is your competitor here in Malaysia, and why am I so different from them? We are focused in this retail convenience segment at the moment, so that's what makes us different. We have the F&B business as well. F&B business, we compete with few players, but we moving forward, we wanted to look at joint ventures, to look at other market outside of Malaysia. Yeah, so that is why we are, and also because we do fuel retail, that's why we're different. So yeah. So how does the post system differ for fuel retail and for retail and versus fuel station? Of course, it's very, very different. Fuel retail point of sale is very, very complex. You need to do something that's very secure, very scalable, can handle large amount of sale, can connect to the pump and things like that. So it's very different. So for us, what I would like to highlight here is we are looking into focusing horizontally into the fuel retail segment instead of going vertically into the other segment, right? Although we still have the F&B business, we still have that. We like the product, but then we want to focus on the fuel segment. And CryptoPos, for example, they focus on the SME segment. I think that is why we are different. And what is your market share in West Malaysia, particularly in East Malaysia? Market share for fuel retail, I don't have the breakdown. Not wrong. I'll try and look it. If you have some detail, I'll forward it later on. What is the company valuation? How much the founder shares the company? Founders own more than the 3 founders own more than 90% of business right now. Yeah. And does fuel retail require ONG major approval first? No. In the US market, no. Most stores are individually owned by single owner, single operator. And who are our main competitor in Malaysia? For fuel retail, we do not compete with any local businesses. We compete with a lot of large international businesses like Wincor, NCR, Verifone, and we have been able to prove that we have a superior solution that has been used by one of the largest petrol stations in Malaysia. Just a testament of the technology. Yeah. Any other questions?
We have a few questions on Facebook. I'll just read them out. US is a very competitive market and a lot of providers. Could you share with us your strategy on how to penetrate into this market?
Sure, sure. It's a large market, so we wanted to go into JV, right? That's the opportunity. If you look at Square, Square is the player that we know, right? But when you look at the US market, even for the F&B point of sale, you have so many players. You have Square, they are not dominant at all. You have Lightspeed, you have Toast, you have Tap Square. There are still so many players within that what you say, the F&B segment, right? So for us, when we look at fuel retail, we are looking to do joint ventures with a company in the payment space and the existing reseller in the point of sale business. That's how we wanted to go into market, because we have been looking at the market last 2 years. We are excited of the opportunity because the way the ARPU in the US market is also much higher than you could get in the local market. So I think that detail is something that I could share to any investor in another session. Yeah.
I have a question from Neil in the chat. US is a very large market, but it is a difficult market to break into as each state has its own rules and is very litigious. Do you have intended partners already in place there?
We have a few partners, so that's why we said our approach with US is we be setting up JVs in several states in the US. Yeah, so we will work with local partners. It's not that we have our direct. We will have our presence there, but we will go to market by working with value-added resellers.
Another question from Zul. I'm having difficulty understanding the pain that you are attempting to solve. Can you delve deeper into what are the pains of F&B and fuel retailers, and why the current solution is not as good as yours?
Yeah, I think I've highlighted that in deck number 10. You can go into pitchIN and download that deck and see that details. Thank you so much.
All right, I think that's about it. That's about all the questions we have so far. Again, there's another one. What sort of shareholding will you have with your JV partners in the US?
We are still discussing that. I will share that once. I will share that once we have details on that. But we are exploring joint ventures. We are setting up a joint venture and to look for value and partner with value-added reseller in the US market.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so specifically for Zul, I think that if you would require more details, you can always contact Reza through his email or phone number. Is it right?
Sure.
Reza?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and also that detail that he's looking for is in slide number 10 in the deck, so he can download that and get the detail from there as well.
All right. I think since that's all the questions that we have for Reza, would you like to say your final words before you exit the session?
Sure. We are going live starting tomorrow. We have had an amazing response from our pre-live that we had for about close to 2 months. So we had over 100 plus retail investors that's participating. So yeah, I'm excited about the opportunity to grow together and with our investor. We hope this is a interesting investment opportunity that we can offer for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reza. We can see some other questions coming in on Facebook. Reza, if you would like to respond directly to the commenters there.
Will do. I will do.
Yep.
I will do. Right. But
Right.
I will do so. Thank you, Aina.
Thank you, Reza.
All right.
Okay, so let's move on to the next pitch that we have tonight, which is John from Supplycart. So Supplycart Technologies Sdn Bhd or Supplycart offers a proprietary software as a service solution, digitalizing business supply chain management with embedded trade payment and supply chain financing capabilities. Businesses that use Supplycart not only improve their cash flow and bottom line, but also gain more recurring revenue. With millions worth of transactions going through the Supplycart platform, it's not a surprise that Financial Times ranks Supplycart as the 70th position on its Asia Pacific High Growth Companies list. So Supplycart is currently live on pitchIN, aiming to raise a minimum of 100,000 ringgit. at a maximum of 4 million ringgit. 4 days left to go for their campaign, and the minimum investment block is 2,076 ringgit. So screen is yours, John.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for spending your evening here with us, and allow me to just share with you Supplycart, and do feel free to ask me any questions pertaining our business. Right. So here we go. Okay. So Supplycart, we are a Malaysian HQ company. We are now regional as well, having presence in Singapore and Hong Kong. And what we are is we are Southeast Asia's business spend management platform. And basically, we have built a software that we have embedded marketplace as well as financing to help the SMEs in this region. A bit about myself and my team. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I came from a multinational, and I started my first business in 2009, and I sold it in 2013. And my other co-founders all came from management consulting background, debt restructuring, and have global experience. And our Malaysian tech lead as well, Azri, also came from B2B, and he has years of experience developing software as well. So as you could see, we're very much into B2B. And this is where, from our experience, that we have seen that the Southeast Asia market for SMEs in this region is severely unserved and underserved. We found that, in 2020 alone, SMEs now are facing cost constraints, poor market access, manual processes in their business, and ultimately this has led to a gap in decline in their business and cash management issues as well. Right, when the business is not digitalized, right, a lot of manual things happening. Even cash becomes a problem. Right, as much as B2C e-commerce is very hot in this region right now, we believe that B2B is the new black. And SMEs need to now think about how do they integrate both their front end and back end together. And this is where Supplycart comes in. We have built a proprietary software right here in Malaysia, and we're filling up the gap in terms of what SMEs are facing right now. Firstly, we work with SMEs to digitalize their business, and that has resulted in 3 times the efficiency and improving their bottom line by 10 to 15%. We have also created an embedded marketplace, giving them new channels now to grow, and not only in Malaysia. With our embedded marketplace, they're able to do cross-border trade and get new businesses as well. And finally, with all the B2B trade happening on our platform, with all the digitalized processes, SMEs now can access financing, and through our financing partner network that we have established. So we're looking to optimize, grow, and expand businesses for SME. So how big is the market? Well, basically there's 65 million SMEs in Southeast Asia, and by just targeting 1%, we're able to assume that there are 32,000 companies that we will be able to reach out to. They will have more than 40 billion of supply chain trade. They would most likely, they're going to be spending about 80 million in software, and we forecast to see that more than 800 million of B2B online sales happening, just by that 1%. So how does Supplycart, what's our model like? How do we scale our model? How scalable is Supplycart? So just a quick picture here is, imagine now we are buyer driven. So a business that is manual in nature, traditional, they have multi-stakeholders, they have legacy systems or no systems at all. They have done businesses with many types of their own suppliers, and all of them are manual. By pushing all of them onto Supplycart, we're able then to digitalize the data, able to digitalize the trade. We have open APIs that we're able to integrate with software. And ultimately, we have already integrated with some financing partners, which I'll share who they are. And ultimately, through that, we are building a digitalized ecosystem of buyers and suppliers. And with that, it's a very repeatable and harvestable. And we just have to keep doing this, and that's where our ecosystem is growing. So we don't customize our software, but we build for the greater good of the ecosystem. So how has COVID-19 impacted us? Well, it's been a pretty good year. We saw more than 300% growth in our users. And we are proud to say that we have established a formal JV with a local prominent bank who has white labeled our solution. And that has allowed us to, grow even further and give our solution to more SMEs. And also we have integrated with cloud accounting like Xero, and also we are working with their partners. So both of this is a very key strategy for us to enable continuous partnerships who have a very large base of SMEs. Combination of these two partnerships will allow us to give us access to about 120,000 SMEs in Malaysia. So this is really just a bit about embedded financing, that the amount of trade that goes through our platform, we're able to see buying patterns, transactional data, and with consent, you're able to then access directly with fintech banks to get those financing. So this is something that Supplycart is looking towards in developing further with the different financing partners to be able to help SMEs in their supply chain financing. So here is a bit of our proven track record. As you have heard, we have been recognized for a very high growth for the past couple of years. Just in 2020 alone, we had 7.6 million top line, and more than 50% of our top line came from payment and finance transactions, and the balance of that came from transacting B2B trade. So we have seen more than 100% compounded annual growth rate from our audited financials, and currently on our database we have more than 4,000 companies, and we have seen just in last year alone more than 40 million of digital trade has happened on our platform. So here are some of our clients, across 68 industries. We are industry agnostic, as every company will need to digitalize their workflows, their trade. So it can be used across many industries. We have also been invested by venture capitalists across the region. From Singapore Venture Capital, we have 2 public listed Japanese companies who invest from their corporate balance sheets, and ultimately also Cradle, who is linked to Ministry of Finance. And we have our a VC from Malaysia, whose funds are coming from Khazanah. So that has been investors' confidence in Supplycart investing to us, and we see that happening in the future as well as we grow. So coming to the last few slides, just to share with you in terms of where Supplycart has came from. We started as we have multiple revenue streams, where the marketplace we take anywhere between 2 to 10%. Everything now is powered by our software that we have built. So we have linked the marketplace and we have linked the payment and financing and supply chain financing into the software. And that's when then we have seen that growth. So the key tool, the key thing here is our SaaS. Some of our traction so far, which I've shared already, something to point out is we have facilitated more than 16 million of payments to sellers through our platform. Yeah. Some of our big milestones, we came out, we received funding in 2018. We launched our software in 2019. We did an integration with software SAP. We were able to expand, in 2020 in Singapore and Hong Kong in September. We had a great JV and partnership started already with MBank. We were selected by Microsoft as, they selected 75 startups that they will journey and mentor, and potential 100, companies, that will be in a unicorn program. We were security tested by Deloitte. We integrated with the cloud accounting, and something that 2021, we were recognized by the Star, by an independent research company, that we are ranked 2nd in Malaysia for highest revenue growth, right after customers number 1. And of course, you have heard, I now share about Financial Times as well. So here's our global comparables. Some of the names you might be familiar with. Just to show you that this space, why I say B2B is the new black, more than 2.2 billion has been invested into companies, into the business spend space. And more than 100 companies in the APAC region have received 13% of that global funding. So some of these big guys, you would see potential exits where it's listing, acquisitions by large corporates. A comparable here closer to home, right? It's a TradeGecko. It's an inventory management software. They were recently acquired by QuickBooks for 80 million. Malaysia, we are comparing ourselves with a listed company, and predominantly a lot of them, they are just targeting very large multinationals or conglomerates, or GLCs. And that's where then Supplycart, we are looking at the SME mid-market space. So we believe that this space has great potential for exits through M&A with technology companies, financial institutions, which is not a fluke in terms of why Supplycart is selected to work with some of these people. So potential trade sale, IPO listing, and also the next round of funding that is coming in will be coming in from PE firms or venture capitalists. last two slides. We're projecting our revenue to surpass 30 million in 2025. We are still loss-making as of this year, and also we see that next year as well. Majority of we have been spending on is developing our technology and people. But in the next couple of years, we see the company having a positive valuation of more than 14 million. And based on our EBITDA multiplier, tech companies get about 20x EBITDA. And that's where we see that we will have about 60% compounded annual growth, and we're going to grow about 3 to 4 times. So with that, we are closing our round soon. We have now so far surpassed 800,000 already. We're already in Singapore and Hong Kong. We have already started in Thailand and Philippines this month. And everything all was done in Malaysia. We didn't spend any money in setting up office or salespeople in that region. And ultimately, by 2022, we'll have a very regional adoption. So the funds will be used 40% in technology, and a balance of the 60% of the funds right now will be used for partnership development, integrating with the different softwares out there to create a more sticky environment where Supplycart then is like an octopus. We can integrate with as many softwares as possible, customer acquisition and business development. So with that, thank you very much. I look forward to having you as a shareholder with Supplycart. And if you're looking to diversify your investments and potentially believing that SMEs in the Southeast Asia region is underserved and unserved, especially during this time of digitalization, I'd like to invite you to join us on this journey. So with that, thank you very much. I'll be accepting any questions, and if there's anything, you can PM me as well.
Thank you, Jonathan. We have one question from Facebook,
Sure.
from Karthik. Supplycart, okay, who are your competitors and what's your advantages over them?
Yeah, so there, I think we are the number of competitors that I shared as well earlier, and some competitors are very focused in certain verticals. It can be F&B. Some names that you're familiar with could be in very much retail. And for Supplycart, we also are competing, in a way against some of these software big names, software developing houses as well. But what sets us apart is that we are building something that is scalable. We are looking to not be bogged down by operational or customized software. As you have heard me share, that we are building an ecosystem of both buyers and sellers. And I think that's where then it allows Supplycart to differentiate ourselves and scale. So I think that's where that we are industry agnostic. Of course, we cannot go very deep specialized, but I think that's where that makes Supplycart different, that we are focusing on SMEs, right? In helping SMEs to digitalize. If there's a need for specialized software, then potentially then we can integrate with them, and that's how we see Supplycart to be.
All right. We have a question from Rohit. What does 2021 look like to you, and what's your margin on the 7+ million revenue you mentioned?
Yep. I think 2021 for us, we have seen some musical chairs happening between the countries. Malaysia lockdown, Singapore lockdown, Hong Kong lockdown as well. But what we have seen is the COVID has accelerated the adoption and the open-mindedness of people for that change. So actually, we've been getting a lot of SMEs and businesses coming on board. Of course, I would say that sometimes SMEs still don't know what solutions they need. So there's a bit of hand-holding still that needs to happen, and education as well. But nevertheless, we believe that currently in 2021, we have seen a steady pipeline growth. We have seen in terms of trade recovering. I think we are preparing then for that big break in 2022. And to answer your other question in terms of from the 7 million, we have facilitated a lot of payment and financing. And we have made an average of 5% from that trade. Of course, we do charge, we have multiple revenue streams. So we charge some of the larger clients or mid-market size to large clients a monthly subscription on the software as well. So we make anywhere between 5,000 ringgit for SME per contract per year, up to 60,000 ringgit per client per contract per year. So minimum contracts that have to come with us is 1 year.
All right.
Yeah.
Another question from Rohit. How much percent is with other investors and how much with the promoters? So I'm assuming the equity.
Okay, right. So the founders among the, we still own majority of the company. We have raised 2 rounds already. So, I would say that the founders now still have more than 50%. And we are 70% Malaysian owned because we also have Malaysian investors. So I would say we are 70%, including Malaysian investors and ourselves, owning majority of the stake of the company.
From anonymous attendee, how do you plan to take on the competitors you listed in your slides should they decide to enter the Malaysian market?
Yep, good question. So I think in the B2B space, dealing with businesses and SMEs, it's a I would say barriers of entry is middle, purely because once businesses start adopting and using it, they don't really change. So it's not as simple as B2C, right? Whoever gives the most discounts wins. So I think for us, it's really the B2B space is growing. It's going to be like an 80 trillion, by 2027 of trade that's going to happen. I believe that having the competitors will be good. It depends on the market focus and what they're heading for, right? They could be still focusing on just I want to build software for companies, and I think what Supplycart is we are moving towards. So is we want to move towards the digital trade, and ultimately why we are linking with the banks is we see a potential in Southeast Asia for supply chain financing. Every trade that goes onto our platform can be financed. So I think that stickiness is high. And I think that's where then we're defensible, I would say, comparing to any company that wants to come to Malaysian market. Before they come in, maybe they should consider buying us. The next question from Zoo: what makes us better than next competitor? I think every competitor has their strength as well. And as mentioned earlier as well, I feel that in this region, a lot of similar softwares like us as well have difficulty scaling outside their home country. And I'm making a hypothesis here that, and of course from my experience is, it's purely because of companies customizing, being too bogged down by customizing the solution for different type of clients that might not be usable or might not be scalable across many industries. And the second thing is very operational. If they are thinking of collecting those transactions themselves, we have seen some similar companies to us being stuck with the day-to-day operations of processing orders, chasing people for quotations. Hey, this guy quoted, can you reply? So I think that is some of the challenges that we see. So your follow-up question is, how do we survive going against the big boys? I think the big boys will always have their own market of regional global contracts. There is no market leader or winner in this in this region, and I think that's where that makes Southeast Asia not very attractive for companies like Supplycart to now scale in this region. And how do we scale it quickly? So I want to share with everybody as well, our strategy for scaling as well is not to go into every country and spend money there and build an office, but again, establishing the key partnerships, which I've already given some examples here, and that will speed up our scalability across the region.
All right. Next question is, can you elaborate on the offer that Supplycart is proposing? Dividends, exit plans, etc.
Sure. So currently we're still loss-making, and we're looking to be break-even and profitable by 2023. In our agreements with our investors as well, we do have a dividend policy clause. It's just that we have not broken down in terms of what will be the dividend policy like. But rest assured that, of course, post 2023, 2024, we look forward to be able to structure something then. So other than that, the potential exit plans for investors coming in, it's very much relating to the valuation of the company as we grow. And I'll address how we came up with that valuation later. There's another question there. In terms of we will be attracting new institutional investors coming in from BCs, regionally as well as PE firms. And I think that's where then investors like yourself who are coming in, you'll be having a potential exit as well. Me and my founders, we are in this for the long haul, but of course we believe that our investors who have believed in us since the beginning should have some form of exit. So we definitely look forward to, of course, allowing our investors to exit and at their choice, whether they would like to sell some of their shares, because by then, whatever that we're raising, we might not need so much, and part of those investments then can be used to buy out investors. So I think that is one. The exit plan here is, potentially then acquisitions or mergers with tech companies, or financial institutions who are looking to diversify and create multiple revenue streams. And I think, like I said earlier, if anybody comes into Malaysia, we will have a very very strong base regionally. So I think that's where then we see our exits to be, as I shared with you some. Are we planning for listing as well? There is an option as well for listing. But currently, I think what we believe in is doing a SPAC or doing a share swap with a larger listed company. That would be preferred. Yeah. From a valuation question perspective, guys, we have been valued by venture capitalists, so we didn't plug this number from the air. And of course, there are a few base assumptions that we have made to come up with a valuation. I wouldn't want to go too technical into it, but just a very rough idea of how we came up with the valuation is. With the next 5 years, what's our projection like? And from that projections, what we are seeing our revenues to be. With the investors coming in this round, what is the multiplier of returns that we see? So we are looking at an average about 25% to 30% returns for investors each year. And with that, we reversed, then we came up with the valuation of the company. So that is a very non-technical, but I will be able to share more, how that the technicality of this valuation. We have also been valued by an independent party using different valuation methods. But the current valuation method that we have used is called the VC valuation method. So you can just Investopedia it, and it will sort of break down for you how we came up with that VC valuation method. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
What is your most unique proposition compared to your competitors?
Yep. So we are aspiring to be the zero, for business spend, zero for procurement. We are a product-led company. So everything that we are doing, we are building for the greater good of the SME community and businesses. And I think that's what has set us apart, that we're building something that people want to use. And with that scalable model of replicating that, building that ecosystem, I think that's where then, we are starting to differentiate ourselves, and we are not industry agnostic. A lot of the competitors could be very focusing in F&B, retail, or hospitality. But I think, then we are sort of outside. So if certain people want to go deep dive in those solutions, then yeah, sure, they need to go to use a very specialized, but what we see our solution is it doesn't stop that. So we're going to look to, because we own our own tech team, we are Malaysia proud tech team here. We're really proud of our Malaysian tech, all Malaysians, no foreigners, never outsource as well. And yeah, we believe that Malaysia, putting Malaysia on the map in terms of having a great tech startup. So yeah.
All right. From Reza, what is the current split of revenue between marketplace or supply chain financing and payment fees, or SEAS fees? Yes,
sure, Reza. So I would say we started off as a marketplace. So the marketplace revenue was good. But when payment and financing came in, currently this year it's taken like maybe about 70% of that top line in terms of financing. And then the balance 20-30% is trade. Now, because when we have these very high top line numbers, the SaaS numbers will look very small, which is why then our SaaS numbers is very good with bottom line. So for SaaS, so for payment and financing and marketplace, we made an average of about 5%. But from a software perspective, it goes right to the bottom line, right? Because there's no cost of goods. We don't have to pay any suppliers. So our bottom line for SaaS is like looking at about 50 to 70%. And that's our bottom line. So I think we have a sort of a hybrid model of top line and bottom line as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Which segment will be faster growing segment? We are SaaS driven. So we are focusing on the SaaS, and then the other revenue streams come in. So I've mentioned earlier our revolution of model. The SaaS needs to be first, and then the payment and the marketplace models complements the SaaS. So that would be our strategy and drive. Yeah.
Question from Pantaleon. You are currently in the red. How do you get from that to 25 to 30% return for investors?
Yeah, so that 20 to 30% return, right, would be at the level when the valuation of the company goes up and when the new investors or an event happens. And I think that's where then we calculate that return. I'm not talking about dividends at this point in time, and I'm more talking in terms of if you come in at this point in time, in the next 4 to 5 years, when we have the new investors coming in, then your exit would be, that. And also, of course, we make assumptions to calculate that into our valuation and how we came up with that valuation. Yeah.
From Jimmy, if I invest 100K, what is my share percentage in the company?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So the breakdown, I guess you can look at pitchIN as well. But the top line, if we are, if I'm not mistaken, 100K will give you 0.3%. Maximum that we're raising 4 million right now, then will give you about 12.5 to 13% of the company.
Okay. So last question, do you, the founders, take a salary, and if yes, how much is it?
Wow, I want to ask Pantala as well, that is he able to review that his salary on the recorded live? So I would say, we are very reasonable founders, and we believe in the company, so I think for us, I would say we are being paid fairly, and I think for us, our people come first, right? So if anything, we will always pay our people first, and founders is always last. If you're thinking that we are driving Mercedes and everything, well, I will have to say we are not. So yeah, so I would think we want to look at that big picture, and that's what's driving us, our passion for this company, and we are in it for the long haul, not for this quick exit or quick turnaround. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that answers you, Kantaron.
Thank you, John. All right, we will move on to our last pitch for the day, for the night, which is Brian from Timbre. Timbre Innovative Solutions in Berhad, or Timbre, is a Malaysian homegrown technology startup that is transforming the ready-to-eat food industry by introducing its IR 4.0 compliant food manufacturing and traceability software solution with Malaysia's first instant hot food vending service. Not only that, Timbre's smart vending machines are fully equipped with features such as 4G and Wi-Fi connectivity, temperature sensors, supports an online and offline system, and does not depend on any food outlets and kitchen, making them easy to be deployed anywhere. So Timbre is currently pre-live on pitchIN, aiming to raise a minimum of 1.2 million and a maximum of 2 million. So the minimum investment block is 2,400 ringgit. So without further delay, over to you, Brian.
Good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming to the pitchIN, to our pitch. I would like to share my slides from here. Okay. Thanks for enjoying the shows, the discussions from other business opportunity. Here we are here presenting Snatch a Bite Smart Vending, which is the only company today that actually does the business direct to customers, to consumers. So we are basically a smart vending operation company. We offer our values is convenient, safe, assurance, and taste. And our motto is we would like to provide everyone with a healthy, tasty hot meal anytime, anywhere. So today, if you were to have looking for food at certain time of the day, there are actually very limited choice. You can go to the convenience store, you can buy a frozen meal, or you can have them to reheat for you there. Or you can go to a hypermart, but it only operates until certain time, and it only also provide you a frozen meal. And food riders is very popular, but they are very costly, and they also depending on the time where the food outlet is operating. And of course, our favorite roadside hawkers doesn't do so late at night. So what we are trying to offer here is a solution where a person can actually get a hot meal from a vending machine, which is offering varieties of meals, and the meals are instantly reheat. It is halal and hygiene because all the meals are stored inside. There's no microwave showing outside, and it is also fully cashless. So this is our first deployment this year in May in KPJ Damansara Specialty Center, if you know where it is. It's actually quite near the emergency sections. So we have been deploying this 3 months ago, and the traction has been very good. We serve a lot of customers from the staff of the hospitals and also some visitors that comes. The peak of the vending sales is actually from late evening until the early morning. So we serve a variety of ready-to-eat meal. These are the meals that actually pre-cooked, stored frozen, and when we take it out from our frozen storage, we thaw it and we put into the chill compartment in the vending machine. So the food will be able to store between 7 to 10 days in the vending machine. And these are the varieties of meals that we offer, including dim sum, Western food, and also the local delights. And most of these meals are actually, all the meals here are manufactured locally by our collaborating partners of food factories. Today, we do not do the food ourselves. We work with them. They will custom design the meals to our requirements. So the vending machine, it has a 3000 kilowatt microwave inside, which is 3 times the normal household microwave. And with that kind of capacity, we can actually reheat a meal within 45 to 60 seconds. And we can have 60 packs of meal inside the machine and offered up to 15 selection. The meals are stored in the chill compartment. And we have also a 32-inch LCD screen, which allows the user to order the meal, or we can also play advertisement, which is also an additional revenue for us. The machine has equipped with the sterilizer, so there's no worry about germs inside the machines. The ozone and UV sterilizer will eliminate those germs. And also every once a week when we do the replenishment, one of the replenishment, we will then sanitize the machines properly. This is the requirement from the hospital actually. And the machine is fully cashless, so we support payment from credit debit as well as all the major e-wallet. The machine is 4G and Wi-Fi connectivity. So this machine has the ability to connect to the back end. And from the back end, we monitor what is inside the machines, what is the stock level, and the various parameters of the operating condition of the machines. So this is our in-house built platform. It's an IR 4.0 platform, which is hosted on the cloud. So this platform monitors all the transactions, the tracking of the food deliveries, the data of the food ingredients and the traceability, as well as the machine status. The replenishment are auto-triggered by the machine, so we will do the replenishment once we receive that. And also, we provide a very unique way of ordering from the machine. So one can actually place an order from the machine remotely. You don't need to be in front of the machine. You can place the order, and the order will go to the machine and reserve for you. So of course, you have to pay for the meal when you order. And this is a very good scenario because in this way, you don't need to touch the machines. And in this case, it's very safe or COVID compliance, no contact at all. The second part is suppose a person who is working late at the office and he would like to order a meal from a vending machine near his house. He can actually do that and pick it up on the way home. So this is something convenient with our way of doing the transaction. Now, comparing to what are the hot meal solution in the market, we're talking about, let's say, convenience store, RTE meal vending operator. This is our direct competitor. Online food delivery services and ourselves. You will find that we excel in a few areas. For example, in the food safe hygiene, we are very safe in the sense that all the meals are stored inside the vending machine. The user will not be able to touch the meals, and when the order is being placed to the machine will reheat the meal directly. As compared to our competitor, they have to retrieve the meal from the machine and put into the microwave. And the microwave become a source of contamination, or what you say, you are not control what is being put inside the vending machine. And also we have other advantages in terms of our in-house cloud monitorings and online offline model. So these are our advantages compared to other. Now, from the business point of view, if I want to scale my business, of course, I will have a very low and cost, because compared to a convenience store, they will have to invest in the outlet, and also they have to pay a very high rental. And for us, our rental is very low, typically less than 1,000 ringgit, even if it's in a good location. So it's very easy for us to move. And if the location doesn't work for us, we just need to switch to another location. So our unique selling point here is, first, we are the first in Malaysia to introduce a chill ready meal vending machine with built-in microwave. And we have a very good connection with the local manufacturer to our partners who has been in the industry for a very long time. So today, the food factories are able to cater for our needs and come with some solutions that whenever we need. So we have over 200 types of meals today in our inventory list. And this is the strength, which is our internal IT solution to make the traceability and cold chain tracking systems for food safety using our platform. This is something that none in the market provide in Malaysia. And also the food traceability on a label on the product is something new. So consumer can actually scan the code to retrieve the product information, the certifications, and the nutrition values. And of course, lastly, our online booking and offline collection is very unique in the market as well. Our vision is to be a global leader in the halal food and beverage market by ways of vending machine. I think today in the market, a lot of people who travels will find that if you go to a certain place in certain areas, you would not very find the halal food very easily. And this is a pain point to some of the Muslim travelers overseas. And what we are looking at is to provide a solution where inside Malaysia and to our regional and global space, a vending machine that sell halal food, whether it is a Malaysian flavor or Oriental flavor, that to address that market. And halal food actually is a wholesome meal everybody can consume, so long as it tastes good. And as we expand our business model, we are also looking at, besides selling the ready-to-eat meal, to look into the upcoming market where the grocers are expanding in our local community. So we are looking at frozen food, fresh fruits, or fresh produce in the concept of a smart convenience store, which can be located in your neighborhood or underneath your condominiums. So, and we have also another approach where certain strategic OEM partners can actually work together with us to deploy a customized solution for their needs. Of course, we are very careful when we come to this OEM arrangement, because we want to have a good synergy and something we can do. Our markets are basically everywhere, actually catering for all the peoples in different places, from the hospitals, which is our current main focus, factories, petrol station, campus, condominiums, high-rise offices, and also transit hubs. Basically, anywhere where we see there are people, but without a proper food availability. This is our 5 years financial forecast based on a projection where we deploy 30 machines a year. So you can see that we are still in the midst of 2021. Last year we didn't make a lot of money, because actually we lost money because this is still a very R&D stage. So we have 3 machines to be ready to deploy. One has already been deployed. And we're looking forward for, with the funding available, we can actually get ourselves more machines to deploy for the coming years. So the revenues that we projected here is based on a consumption pattern where the machine can sell 60 to 80 packs a day. And we can actually see that the revenue is growing with about, in the 5th year, we will have something like a 18% EBITDA. This is a further breakdown. Here, what I would like to show you is that our valuation currently is 6 million. With this is pre-live actually. So and also we are first time doing a fundraising. We value our share at about 120 ringgit. But as we go to the 5th year, you will see that the amount more than 20 times more. Sorry, 5 times more compared to an initial investment. So we are looking for equity offer to our our investors between 1.2 to 2 million through our ordinary share. So the minimum investment is 2,400 for 20 shares. The utilization of the funds are basically to cover our our revenue generation drive to get more machines, our cold chain capacities, so-called the cold room and the equipment, as well as to beef up our operation and marketing support. And some chunk, about 21%, will goes into development of the big data and also to further enhance our online-offline model. So this is our financial roadmap. We started in 2018 and it has been funded by the shareholders since then. So we have used the fund to develop the idea and also research into the back end. We have done our proof of concept with the live deployment in KPJ. So now we are into the stage where we are going for commercialization. And we're looking for equity funding to fund this revenue growth for our current marketing, branding, operation, development needs. After this, on the 2024, we'll be going for the regional expansion, where we will probably develop a franchise model and also the new concept, any new concept in terms of retail with vending. And finally, our goal is to become a global player. And through that, we wish to allow our investor to exit via the IPO. This is a milestone where we have, in the past, since 2018, we have been marketing the solution in many events, and we have received a lot of good response. This is one of the show back in 2018 when we first showcased the vending machine, and we have already at that time 60 interested parties that are very interested in our vending machine concept. And also we have participated in the Malaysian Dietitian Association conference. This conference allows us to expose our solution to the hospitality market, namely the hospital and the clinics. These are some of our customers that came and experienced the product in our office during the past 2 years. A brief introduction about the co-founder. I'm Brian. I'm the managing director. So my background is actually in the IT, technology, and Bernard, my partners, he is the chief executive officer, so he runs the operation. He is formerly from the Prince Court, head of food services, and he has many years of experience in F&B. Casey Nkachai is my technical director. He is also an ICT developer. He in charge on all the software solution in our company. Jimmy Long is my other partner that look after the business development. He is actually a seasoned F&B business solution provider. So here we are a fully 100% Malaysian-owned company. And we welcome that potential investor to come to our office in Puchong to experience the meal. Of course, now it's an MCO, so we have to be careful. But nonetheless, the only way to convince you is basically to try the machine and taste the food. Now, because we are a pre-live, we want to offer incentives to our early investors. So we offer between 3 to 8% shares, free shares, for the purchase of for the investment of the shares in terms of 100 shares, 200 shares, and 400 shares. And lastly, this is our contact. Please feel free to contact me or my partner Bernard if you need a further exploration in our this venture. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Let's move on to the questions. We have one question from Saiful over on Facebook. What happens to the unsold and expired food? Do you incur extra costs on that?
Yes. So what we're trying to do here is for the unsold food, because our machines are able to predict, we know what the food is going in because we need to make sure that we comply with the expiry date of the food. Each of the meal can store between 7 to 10 days in the machine. So what we will do is before the expiry date, maybe 1-2 days before that, we will do a promotion drive to allow the meals to be consumed through a discount to probably to our customers. So this is one way we reduce the loss from expired food.
All right, thank you. Question on the Q&A on Zoom. What is your revenue and profit for year 2020 and 2021 so far?
So far in the 2021, we have a loss, as I show on the picture. We actually lost about 200,000 from our we lost about 347 in year 2020. So this year we are trying to break even, but without the number of machines being deployed, we will not be able to achieve the economy of scale. So we are looking forward for that kind of a breakthrough with our fundraising.
All right. A question from Naro. Is the vendor machine then company patent? Where is this machine manufactured?
This vending machine is not. It's actually we got it from our suppliers. However, the machines that we get is not able to deploy directly. So we customize the machines to our local environment, and that is on the hardware side. But on the software, we did 100% here. It's all done by our team in Malaysia. It's all my Malaysian.
Okay, so how many units of this machine has been deployed?
So far, we have 3 machines as our R&D. So we are looking for this year to deploy another 30 machines.
All right. From Jesse, are there plans to white label the machine to other food manufacturers in the future?
Yeah, this is a good question, Jesse. Basically, what we have been talking in the 2 years, there are some food factories that are talking to us, but we are willing to work with them under the OEM strategic partnership if there is a value add for both parties.
All right. Any plans to make your machines cook instant noodles with additional ingredients such as eggs?
That is something we might look into in the future, but not now.
Another question from Narong. Roughly how much revenue can be derived from one machine, and what is the lifespan of each vending machine?
Okay, the machine. Let me answer the lifespan of each vending machine. This is a very interesting question, because the machines actually we procure from overseas, but we actually have our own maintenance team to do the maintenance. So we can actually do we are actually looking at 5 years of maintenance lifespan. But if we are able to so-called fabricate the parts in local or repair, so-called repair some of the things locally, we can actually extend the vending machine to a longer lifespan. And with that longer lifespan, so you can actually deploy the machines to other markets where you need a better ROI with a lower cost. So how much revenue can be derived from one machine? So we are looking at something like per day selling at 60 packs. And if you sell 60 packs at 9 ringgit a pack, you're talking about 540 ringgit a day. So 540 ringgit a day times 30 days, you're talking about 15 to 16,000 a month. So that is actually a bit on conservative side because we will be looking at the location where we can sell more than 60 packs. So we are prepared to do 2 rounds of replenishment a day.
All right. Is there any other new stream of revenue besides this current one?
For Timbre, we have a few business segments. Smart vending is one of the segments, and in the smart vending business, we derive our income from the sales of the mail. We also derive income from the advertising on the screen. We have a 32-inch LCD screen, which we can advertise, and that's almost like no cost at all. And the third thing we can do is to maybe offer some kind of services on our vending machine, where we can, for example, like we can retrofit it to support banking services, for example, because the digital banking trend is coming to Malaysia, so we can also utilize our vending machine for that kind of operations. For the company as a whole, beside the smart vending, we also have a small section now on the B2B, mainly to do professional catering services for like hospital. We do inpatient catering. For the cafe, we provide the ready to serve product for them to prepare their meals. So these are some of the things that we are doing concurrently beside the vending machine.
All right. What is your gross margin, and do you have an order pipeline?
All right. So basically, we are a B2C company. So when we are a B2C company, we derive our income from the food that we sold to the consumer, and that actually depends on how many machines we deploy in the market. Our gross margin is somewhere between 30% to 15%.
Okay. Do you have an order pipeline?
Yeah, the order pipeline is not relevant to here. I mean, the order pipeline is referring to customer order pipeline. Then it wouldn't be applicable here because we are to consumer market.
All right. Question from you: how much is one meal?
One meal will be range from 9 ringgit to 20 ringgit, depending on the ingredients.
All right. From AD, how would you manage the supply chain outside of Klein Valley?
So this is a very good question. Right now, our focus is to perfect our systems and operation in Klang Valley. For outside, for example, like in the northern region or the southern regions, we would be looking for partners. This is where our franchise model will come in. So we want to provide a franchise model to people who value our brands and our solutions, and they can then license it for outside our Klang Valley. But this is very subject to our operation. Definitely, I think in East Malaysia, Sabah, Sarawak, probably will be looking for a franchise player.
Right. From Jessie, can you buy the frozen food without heating it?
Yeah, good question, Jesse. The food actually is stored chilled in the machine. It's not frozen food yet. For the ready-to-eat meal, it is stored chilled. However, the machine now allows the user to purchase the food whether with heating or without reheating. So we can also offer things like sushi or sandwiches on the machines, and that doesn't need to be reheat.
All right. We have one final question over on Facebook from David. Few Malaysians are good at vandalism. Did your machine undergo extreme physical tests?
I think that our machines is not like an ATM because there's no cash inside. There's only food. So the chances of vandalism that itself is already very low. And also we are very careful in deploying our machines so that we don't necessarily need to suffer any loss from that. So the places that we currently looking at is lobby of an office, or in a hospital lobby, and a place where there is CCTV or people nearby. So I don't think vandalism is a major issue. However, I do agree that if you go to campus, this might be an issue.
All right, thank you, Brian. So we've reached the end of our session. I would just like to invite John from Supplycart just to say his final words.
Thank you, Aina. So yeah, thank you everybody. We look forward to having you journey with us. Again, if it's something that you're looking at to diversify your investments, looking to journey, be that entrepreneur. We have a pool of advisors, and our current investors now are coming from corporate CEOs, banking line. We would very much love to have you with us. And do check out our final campaign days ahead on pitchIN. And more than happy to connect further. And just want to encourage, thank you so much for supporting, Malaysian tech startups, like myself, Brian, and also Riza earlier. So yeah, thank you everybody. Have a pleasant evening ahead.
Thank you, John. Brian, your final words?
Yes, I think thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to pitch here. I think our business model is pretty easy to understood. We are a B2C. We are in F&B. So if you are actually been exposed to F&B business, you probably will understand that the industry has been just so-called trashed by COVID very badly. So we are here to basically trying to offer a solution that if you were still to come to F&B, our solution is actually ahead of the time. It is really much into the tech, and in our company, we have the technology, we have the solution on hand. We develop our solution. We are engineers. We are also a food, a food specialties. So we can continue. We will continue to innovate. So the idea of innovation is always in our mind. There will be new product and new services that we want to offer in the market. So I think it's a good time that if you are interested in our business model, you like our business, you like the industry we are in, please don't hesitate to contact us. And we are still in the pre-live, so there is a lot of advantage if you to incentivize you when you want to come in. That's my last word. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. So there you have it. Thank you very much to all our issuers today. Thank you for our audience for tuning in and for asking all these questions. All the information on each of these companies are available on our platform. Log in as an investor at www.equity.pitchin.my. So you will find on their campaign page their business deck, their financials, and their legal agreements. And there you can also pledge and reserve your investments. So if you'd like to also download our 2020 annual ECF report, which has details on our past issuers, it's available for download on our platform as well. So until next time, thank you for your support, everyone, and stay safe. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.